Do we have any more questions? There's a question right in front of me.
Was it shot digitally or on film?
Digitally on the Alexa, which is a fantastic camera.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I think there's not a lot of people shooting on film these days anymore, are there? At all?
You do need a big budget for film. Yeah.
And the results are really beautiful on digital now, too.
They're really good. Yeah, they're gorgeous.
We have a question here.
How difficult was it for you coming from a creative background to sort of put on the business producer hat on doing the same simultaneously? Was that a difficult transition, and how much of a learning curve did you have to sort of learn some of the business issues that are involved with being a producer?
I'm just trying to figure out how to answer it. I think both of us would say that it's really tough to have to wear a producer hat on a day that you're trying to be an actor and an artist, because the most important thing as an actor and an artist is to be present in the moment. And if you're thinking about all the problems that have to be solved after your take, so I would say that being able to multitask and just hat on, hat off, hat on, hat off, and it's very difficult, and just and also have a team. I think it's really important that you have, have someone else so that to help to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, I want a staff.
So many, when it comes to women filmmakers, it seems like the great preponderance of women filmmakers are documentary filmmakers. And I know there's some documentary filmmakers here in the audience. Do you think that, I don't know if you've ever worked on documentaries before, or you ever thought about working on documentaries? No.
I mean, not just have you?
No, there's never been a story that called to me. Like, I certainly would. But it's funny, one of the directors we looked at for this project who we loved, who won an Oscar for a doc and also directs TV, and we loved the idea of her because, she understands fiction, but she also understands documentary. And in this film, this was based on hundreds of interviews and real life stories, so we wanted that reality, and she couldn't do it in the end because one of the documentaries she's been working on for 7 years, like about this little boy, he was coming home the week that we wanted to shoot, and she's like, I've been working on this for 7 years. I've been working on his story for 7 years. I can't miss this moment of his life, and his life only happens once, and we said, of course, we understand. So documentaries tend to take a long time.
Yes, we know. We actually, at the film office, we serve as fiscal sponsors for a lot of documentaries and have been doing it for years. So we're very familiar with that process. And I was wondering if there's, if you ever thought about it. So maybe
I love watching documentaries.
After the musical documentary.
Equity the doc.
We actually did talk about doing a documentary of the filmmaking process while we were making the movie, which in retrospect would have been really fascinating. But again, we just didn't have the time or the
staff.
But one day, yeah.
Absolutely. Questions back there? How are we doing with time, ladies? I know we're going to wrap it up pretty soon. A question?
So you guys look like you have a really great relationship, and I was curious two things. One, how do you carve out boundaries when every film acts almost like a startup?
Right.
So and the second
There
question
are no
is there a
boundaries.
natural break between the two of you? Like one of you does more of the business stuff, and the other one deals. How do you break that up?
We live in 2 different homes.
Very supportive husbands.
Yes, we have deeply supportive husbands and very understanding children and parents. Our parents have been outrageously helpful. My mom took my daughter for most of this summer.
My dad did a lot of free legal work.
My husband was an associate producer on the movie for absolutely no money and turned down big money jobs. It's incredibly supportive, and we teased particularly going, from like April till end of August, I spent so much more time with her than my husband. So much more time. We teased. It was like, this is my spouse. We're married now. Yeah, and I think that's a really great question. It is like a startup. It is like a startup. And I think you have to like fall in love with someone, flaws and all.
And learn. I mean,
yeah.
like, we're still learning about each other, and like, we all have our moments, like we have our moments in marriage and startup, and it's a high pressure environment, and it's learning to every day improve that relationship and work on it. But we're also very lucky that we have similar taste. We went into business, we like the same kind of art, and we have the same core mission for this movie, and so that's really important in developing the relationship.
Yeah.
So you live in different houses. Are they near each other?
No, they're not.
which is actually a
I'm
problem.
I'm at the top of the city and she's at the bottom of the city, and that's a real problem.
And it's not fair because the editing room is closer to me, so
Yes, so not fair.
Alicia
And
has to come to me
we
more.
really need a helicopter sponsor for me. So someone can fly me down to the edit room really quick.
Well, and I know you have to get back to New York.
Do.
both
We
of
We
you,
do,
and
to
go back
get
to
back to the
train.
edit, yeah.
So I think, unless there's one last question, I'm going to let these ladies go back to New York and finish their movie. And I can't thank you both enough for this. This is really important to our community. And we love you. We can't wait to see the movie and premiere it at the Democratic National Convention. After, of course, it's at Sundance. Thank you.
And just one last shout out to Sharon, because actually this film would not have happened without the tax credit, would not have happened. And Sharon and the film office were instrumental in getting that for us.
Well, thanks everyone for coming, and have a great evening. I think it's cocktail hour.